Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a tropical storm Isaiah update Thursday, July 30th, around 10 p.m. Mountain Time 2020. Now, many of you have been following the updates on this storm, and we meant to put a podcast out a little earlier than today, but we would be saying the same thing. We were just going to be a little ahead of the mainstream. Tropical storm Isaiah is expected to become a hurricane, and sooner rather than later. It's going to strengthen, then weaken, then strengthen again. And we're going to talk about it tonight. Isaiah is nearing the southeastern Bahamas, or there by now. And by tomorrow, will be somewhere just north of Jamaica and taking names. We're going to get to the models in just a minute. Here is the current Hurricane Center tropical storm force wind speed probabilities. And you can see there's a huge cusp here as it moves towards the east of Florida. Many of the earlier models, the European model was showing it coming directly hitting Miami and going east. Now all the models have shifted towards a coastal pattern, and this is bad news for North Carolina. Heads up, North Carolina. Now the Safford-Simpson hurricane wind scale. So far we haven't really exceeded Cat 1. Strong Cat 1 made landfall just the other day in the U.S., but we really haven't seen many major Cat 3 or larger hurricanes. And it's my opinion that this will reach Cat 3 in 24 to 36 hours, go back down to Cat 1 or tropical storm status, and then re-strengthen the Cat 2, Cat 3 when it hits North Carolina. So the very complex storm. Now the Dvorak current intensity chart has to do with the millibars of pressure in a storm. This one currently, after all model runs, goes down to around 985, 984. So 984 millibars puts it in the 3.5 CI, the current intensity index, which puts winds about 63 miles per hour in the center of the storm. Now, if we look at some of the model runs, it's showing a landfall south central North Carolina on the coast sometime Tuesday around noon, with sustained winds up to 113 miles per hour, which would put it right around Cat 3, Cat 2, Cat 3. And these, again, are just models. But let's work through the models together, shall we? So, first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to blow this up to give you the full view, move the East Coast over here, and we'll just back it up into the Bahamian region. Let me see how nice I can get this for you. And the first we're going to start with is the ECMFW. This is the European model. We'll take it back till right now, where you can see that tropical storm developing quite nicely just north of Santo Domingo, somewhere between Havana, somewhere between Cuba and Santo Domingo. Now, according to the European model, by midday tomorrow, what we're looking at here is going to be a Cat 2 storm by midday tomorrow in this region. So heads up to Nassau in the Bahamas, because this Cat 2 storm is about to intensify and come right through Nassau. Take a look at this. We'll just move this through. It intensifies a little right there. That's pretty strong, straight in the center of the Bahamian region. And we have winds at 115 or greater. That's bad news as far as gusts are concerned. This is going to go right over the Bahamas and basically destroy the entire island complex in some respects. All of them. It's like centered right amongst them. So here we are midday Saturday, and this should be just offshore of Miami, sitting at about Cat 1, Cat 2, with maximum gusts at around 105. And this is the European model, remember. So let's just run this through. Here's your Saturday evening. This is going to move its way up the Florida coast and get quite close. So it's going to saturate the entire eastern coast of Florida. Flood warnings and watches. You're going to see flash flooding. And then it's going to go move back out into that warm water, which is bad news for North Carolina, because this storm is going to redevelop as it moves up. So it's going to remain a tropical storm or a Cat 1 storm. And then this is the boom time right here. This is the time that's a little too far out to really predict, But we're looking at a storm getting up to Cat 2, Cat 3, and reorganizing off the shore of South Carolina and Georgia all day Monday. And so all day Monday, we'll have really good uh, telemetry, let's say, on what's happening here. And then if this European model is anything near the truth, take a look at how this intensifies before it slams into the coast here. So we have a very discrete eye forming with winds that I found at one point up to 127 miles per hour. So it's a very strong Cat 2, Cat 3 storm, and it will be making landfall right there. That's boom time. Midday Tuesday is my opinion based on all the models. We're going to look at them all. But this could potentially make landfall at about 120 miles per hour in this position, the south central coast of North Carolina. Now let's switch this over to the GFS model just for some clarity and for an opposing position. And we'll bring it back to present and see what the GFS has to deal with. Now, typically these models are quite different, but now they are both confirming the same activity. So once that occurs, based on my experience over the last half a decade, what we can find with these storms is they're going to maintain the spaghetti model track once they are in agreement. And we have a 4-day agreement through Tuesday with the GFS and the European model showing the same type of system, crushing the Bahamas. The GFS shows it moving a little north, which would move that eye wall right over the actual islands themselves, potentially with less wind on the GFS model, but equal destruction. So it doesn't really matter what model you're looking at. The destruction will be equal, except in the European model, we see a Cat 2-3 storm. In this model, we see a weaker tropical storm moving up Florida here. And this would be Sunday morning off the coast of like Daytona. And then it's moving up towards Georgia here, probably developing some wind speeds here back in. See, it's taking it back into tropical storm, a weakened system. But the same thing on the GFS model that happens with the European model happens right in this region. There's a re-intensification. That's not what we wanted to show there. We want to be able to pause this. It's just running the numbers there. But look at the new GFS numbers. This is rafing off the coast here of South Carolina. So the GFS is putting it a little further westerly in where the eye wall will actually rake up the coast of South Carolina into North Carolina. Now, that's not necessarily good news. The GFS is showing less winds, like 50, 60 mile per hour tropical storm winds, but that could just lead to more rain. So more rainfall potential is always the destructive feature of these storms. So we want to keep a close eye on it because the GFS and the European model are now agreeing on the track. What they are disagreeing on is the intensity. So we're going to keep a close eye on that for you and all of our people. Now let's see what the Tropical Tidbits has to say. And we're just going to move this low pressure system through. There you can see the current position. It drops by tomorrow down to 997 millibars, 998, 94, still dropping according to the GFS MLSP. Now this particular model is not going to agree with the windy model we just showed on GFS because if we're at 991 millibars here, this is going to be a Cat 2 storm. It's going to be major storm affecting the East Coast. So what I want you to glean from this early synopsis is that if you're from Miami all the way up to North Carolina, you should be under hurricane warnings right now in your mind. You should be preparing for the worst coming Sunday, Monday, Tuesday up through North Carolina. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday up through North Carolina. Anywhere this can shift and create devastation on the coast. And the purpose of this podcast is proper prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. Get out there, get the things you need. If infrastructure is damaged, we're talking about power lines down, no water. You need water in the house. You need backup generators. You know what you need. You live in Hurricane Alley. So be smart. Don't be stupid. This is coming. It's coming. How big it comes is anyone's guess. But from Miami all the way up to Hatteras, we have hurricane warnings in effect, according to Oppenheimer Ranch Project. According to us, this is going to stay offshore, Miami, all the way up through South Kakalaki, and then it may start moving onshore in South Carolina. So if you're in a coastal region through South Carolina up through Hatteras, please be prepared for the worst. We're talking flooding, loss of life, infrastructure failure, huge storm surge. Huge. Now, we only have half a moon and it's going to be waning, thankfully. And that is our only saving grace. Tropical storm force wind probabilities here. Isaias nearing the southeastern Bahamas now, probably just north of Cuba. But it's heading towards the U.S. and will become a hurricane. Maybe once, maybe twice. But proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. When, according to the European model, oh my God, let's go back there. On Tuesday, North Carolina, well, that's your lose day. So if you can prepare tomorrow and you're up in North Carolina, do not take this with a grain of salt. Many of the models suggest that you're going to be crushed with a Cat 2 storm hitting just south of Ocracoke. Time to take a toke. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. When the Dvorak current intensity chart shows, well, that the entire East Coast from Miami up to Hatteras is fluxed Sunday through Tuesday. Share this with like-minded people. Subscribe to the channel and get the facts. Be safe. We love you. Prepare now. Prepared, not scared. And that's a boom. Oh, did you see that? That was the boom. So it's like Monday, fun day. Everybody's surfing. And then they're not even ready for it. Because it comes quick. And that's a wrap.